Now, the Cabinet Minister, Jacob Rees-Mogg, is under fire for leaving a note for civil servants saying, "Sorry you were out when I visited." Well, the union, it says the note is crass and insulting and undermines civil service leadership. Basically, it's all about the fact that they're working from home, and he's making the point that they would be very welcome back at their desks.
Yes, let's talk to Heather Scales, who's Managing Director of Heartbeat HR. Good morning to you. What do you make of all of this? Do you think people should, if the boss is in effect saying, "I want you back in the office," should they be there?
I think the difficulty is that in people's contracts of employment, it will state where their place of work is. Unfortunately, or fortunately for some, with COVID, it's changed the way that we look at work. So individuals have got used to working from home. So I certainly don't think it's fair or right to place notes on walls to ask people to return to the office.
I mean, there's clearly an indication there that he thinks they should already be back. I mean, the government said, hasn't it, that people should be back, really. They want the civil servants back.
Yeah, but what we must remember is that our employees are our biggest assets. And what we want is a motivated team. Therefore, there's obviously a mismatch at the moment in terms of communication. So how was that? How did they communicate the return to work? And how was it received? Have they checked that? Have they carried out a survey? I think what's happened is they've said, please return. And there are elements of the workforce that are probably struggling to return. So they're not really thinking about their mental health issues.
And I was going to say, it's not just mental health either, is it? It's the fact that it is cheaper for them. It's easier as well because there's no commute involved. What's wrong with actually seeing the benefits of working from home if the job can still be done?
Totally. I mean, I recognise there are a percentage of companies that can't work from home, but we've seen through the pandemic that it works. And you're right. You know, we save 2 hours a day in terms of travel. In my experience, what I've seen is actually people are working longer because they're at their desk, their workstation, sooner than they would be if they were travelling into London. So for me, it's a positive thing.
It's interesting, talk about mental health. I know there's one I just caught it in a newspaper before, one council saying people should be allowed to work from home, if they feel that they would have mental problems heading back to work. And yet we're constantly told isolation is a big problem for mental health. So wouldn't actually people be better off back in the office with colleagues, communicating, having that work social life?
Yeah, you're right. And I think there's a balance here. And that's why hybrid working, part in the office and part working from home is the way to go. So you get the best of both worlds. And it helps with the work-life balance.
And as you said, as we were saying earlier, so the only problem I've found is that a lot of people getting in touch about this have said that if you are working from home too much, you're bringing up another generation of workers who will never actually work in an office, and that's a skill that's necessary, isn't it?
It definitely is, but again, that's why this sort of half and half in the office and half at home really works. So you can go into the office, you have that one-to-one physical time with people, you're learning from leadership, you're doing all the things that you need to do and used to do, but equally, the other half of the week, you're at home and you're able to focus. A lot of the feedback I get is, oh, crumbs, I work in an open plan and sometimes I can't focus on my job. So they have that, what I'd call quiet focus time, which, again, is a positive thing. And I think a positive thing for businesses as well.
Yeah, I was going to say water cooler moments, though, where lots of people meet their other half as well. You don't want to get rid of it entirely, but you want to blend it.
Yeah. So this is where, again, that hybrid mix really works. And I would say 90% of my clients have moved to that hybrid way of working or actually gone to remote working. As you've mentioned before about the sort of cost of office space, that's a big consideration. People have changed the way that they work. And I think, perhaps there are other areas, other businesses that need to start to focus and say, do we really need people 100% of the time in the office? And potentially we don't, for those people that can obviously do their role remotely.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Heather, thank you very much indeed. It's good to talk to you this morning. I'm really not sure